Let's also tell you that data from the National Bureau of Statistics show foreign investment in Nigeria's manufacturing industry went up by $644 million in 2023 to $1.5 billion from $948 million in the previous year. The NBS, in its capital importation report, said manufacturing ranked first as the sector with the most investment. The banking and finance sectors came a distant second and third as the sectors that made up the top three investment magnates. Lagos State was a top destination in 2023 with $2.5 billion, followed by Abuja with $1.1 billion. Abia and Rivers State recorded $150 million and $6 million in that order. Other states attracted investments in 2023 were Ogun, Ekiti, Abia, Akwa Ibom, Anambra, and Adamawa State. 29 states failed to attract any investment during the period. And to talk about that conversation, I'm being joined live by Dr. Femi Egbeshola, National President, Association of Small Business Owners. Good morning, Dr. Femi. Glad to have you join me.
Good morning once again. Thank you for having me.
All right. Now, could you share with us the factors driving the increase in foreign investment in the manufacturing sector?
Yes, there are a number of factors driving foreign investments at the moment now. One of such is the fact that it's now cheaper to invest in Nigeria because of the falling value of the naira. It's now easier to bring in few foreign currency and exchange it to a lot of naira. For investors, it is also right to speculate that Nigeria is the right destination place to invest now because it is becoming extremely difficult to import products that Nigeria needs to the market because of the falling value of the naira. Imported products now are extremely expensive in the market, and the right thing for any investor to do is to come down here and invest and begin to sell and make more profits. We also have the issue of the Japa syndrome or the brain drain. Many of Nigerians have traveled abroad for some past years now. They've made some money, and the right thing for them to do is to invest in their country. And that's also happening, bringing in a lot of investment in Nigerian sectors, particularly the manufacturing sector. We also have the issue of the president going around the world to market Nigeria, trying to drive investment. I think that is also yielding some good fruit because we are now seeing quite a number of investments here and there. We can also see that government has tried to introduce a lot of tax incentives to be able to bring in investors, and it's also yielding fruit. We also have free trade zones here and there where it makes it easier for investors now to begin to manufacture in Nigeria without paying much in terms of taxes and levies. And this has also encouraged investments into the country.
Well, it's interesting you touched on the Japa syndrome, which is a recurring decimal. I mean, how can we prevent Nigerians in droves leaving the country?
Well, if we want to do that, we just must fix our economy. If the economy is right, few people would want to leave. Most people that are leaving are not leaving because they really choose to leave. But the economic crunch and its adverse effect on their well-being is what is forcing them out of the country. And that can only be mitigated if the fiscal and economic policies is fixed right, if ease of doing business is improved, and if security and other issues that relate to the livelihood and well-being of the citizens are improved. You also must understand, too, that no matter how good a country is, there will also be other reasons why people will migrate from one place to the other. But the level of our migration here is so alarming, and that's why we need to be talking about it.
Okay, let's talk some more about foreign investment. How do you think it will impact employment and also wages in the manufacturing sector?
Well, when we have more foreign investment, definitely more jobs will be created because it means more factories will be opened in the manufacturing sector, which will need more workers. That's a good one for us. At the same time, too, it will also bring more revenue to the country because those investors will end up paying tax and raise government revenue. We will also have a lot of technology transfer from overseas to our people that can now begin to use those technology to locally also manufacture those products or items. We also have a law of local content here where it says that investors must make sure that they have 80% local content. That also will go a long way to boost the investment in Nigeria and have a good effect on our economy because of the local content law that we have at the moment. It will also go on to help to improve the infrastructure of the country, because we know that when government has enough investments and more revenue, they'll be able to have more money to spend on infrastructure. Finally, it will also help to reduce the prices of goods and commodities. When we have many manufacturers coming up to produce so many things at the same time, and we have more supply beyond the demand, it will naturally bring down the prices of goods and commodity by directly or indirectly reducing inflation.
Well, I'm tempted to ask you if we presently, as a country, have all it takes to attract foreign investments. We've heard of companies leaving Nigeria, foreign companies, leaving Nigeria. We've got inflation to battle with at 29%. We have food inflation at 35%. The hike in prices of goods and services. I'm wondering if Nigeria, as a country, can attract foreign investment.
Well, if you want to look at the books and the economics, you may say no, but Nigeria is a miracle country. We have so many things working for us. One of it is our population. Our population attracts investments every now and then because anybody coming here knows that there's a ready market of over 200 billion people. That's a lot. We also now have the issue of the falling naira, which makes it easier and cheaper for whoever wants to come in to invest in our country. And beyond that, we also believe that a lot of investors have seen so many opportunities that unfortunately we the locals are not seeing, and that's why you will see Nigerians living overseas and you see the expatriates and investors coming into the country. There's something they have seen and they are sure of that is making profit for them at the end of the exercise that we are not seeing. And that's why you see a lot of companies still springing up, as many as possible, as much as we have others closing shop and relocating.
What more can the Nigerian government do to woo more foreign investment? Should they be looking at, tax incentives or improve infrastructure?
Yes, tax incentive is one of it. Tax has to be harmonized. It has to be understood, and it should always be right. It should be an issue whereby taxes should be addressed to the fruits and not the seed. That's one of the challenges we have here now. Regulatory and certification processes also need to be improved. We have some organizations or investors coming in and spending weeks or months trying to get one kind of approval or certificate or the other. Government needs to also improve on that. The government also needs to improve on ease of doing business. It is important that ease of doing business should be improved. Infrastructure needs to be fixed, particularly power and road has to be fixed so that these companies have power to work with and they have good roads to distribute whatever they produce in and around the country. The government also needs to ensure that security is worked upon. You will discover that in your report, few states are attracting foreign investment. You wonder why are other states not attracted? It is because one of the factors is that they are not secured enough. We have security issues here and there. We have unrest here and there. These are mitigating against investment, and government needs to work about it. Finally, government needs to begin to reform many of our fiscal and monetary policies. They need to be worked upon. One of it that just came up recently is the inability of investors to be able to repatriate their profit and capital back to their destination country. Investors does not really like that. They want to move their capital and their profit at any time they so desire. But the new CBN law mitigates against that now. That may also discourage investments.
Just one final question for you, Dr. Femi. I mean, what's your position of people on people who say, tax incentives will further deplete the economy?
I don't agree with that. In our economy, we need to grow, particularly the manufacturing sector. The manufacturing sector is challenged at the moment, and we need to grow that sector. That's the real sector. That's the only way the country can begin to revive the economy. The country can begin to reduce inflation by consuming what we produce. And the one way to encourage them is tax incentive and even other form of palliatives and intervention. So whatever can be done by government to incentivize that sector, to support that sector, to grow that sector, to me, is a welcome idea. When they grow and they become stable, taxes will be channeled to them, and they will be able to pay without much ado when they are able to stabilize. Now they need to stabilize. The economy is not right. The situation of the country is not really right. We need to support them to stabilize and grow. Then we can tax them further, and they'll be able to conveniently pay those taxes.
Well, thank you so much for your expertise on the news, Dr. Femi Egbeshola. Thank you once again.
Thank you so much once again.